الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We thank Allah for letting us reach another day. Many people have been lost in this Ramadan. Some people slept, they didn't wake up. But Allah, by His grace, His mercy, His infinite compassion, counted us among those who has another chance, or who have another chance to witness another day, another chance for repentance, another chance for raising our status in His sight, another chance for bettering our life, another chance to be with our loved ones, another chance to spend time with our lovely families, our lovely wives, our lovely children, our lovely relatives, our lovely mothers, our lovely fathers. We say Alhamdulillah, for we do not know how long that will last. So for as long as it lasts, we thank Allah and we ask for His infinite bounties and mercies. And I also send blessings on His noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his progeny, his households, his companions, and all those who follow his footsteps until the day of resurrection. My mothers, my sisters in Islam, and the brothers are also present. I welcome you all to today's Tafseer of Suratul-Takaathur that we're discussing. And we thank Allah for giving us this opportunity to continue these sessions and these meetings. We pray He makes it beneficial to the speaker, to those listening, and to those who we can impact their lives after we listen and pass the message across. So, talking about the introduction to the surah, I give a different introduction every day for us to learn a lesson from this surah and continue. The lessons from this surah alone are infinitely long. If we take the whole Ramadan discussing this surah, we will not finish. If we take next Ramadan, we will not finish, because it is connected to every aspect of our life. It's like the veins in our body. Hundreds of millions of billions of them. It's like the stars in the galaxy. Hundreds of billions of them. So we'll take it slow and as little as possible, and take as much as we can. The thing I want us to understand today about Suratul-Takaathur, Quran chapter 102, that starts as Al-Haakumut-Takaathur. We've been deluded by rivalry, by competition in worldly things. Is for us to understand that there is competition in good things. So instead of competing in worldly things, you should compete more in good things. There is nothing wrong in getting worldly things. We've explained that several times, and people have asked questions. There is nothing wrong in having a lot of money. There is nothing wrong in getting good businesses. Islam encourages it. Only two things. Don't let it distract you from Allah and your purpose of life, and don't be extravagant. Don't let it put you into sin. Don't be extravagant about it. Two things to beware. Every other thing is fine. You can build a big house, have a big car, have many of them, send your children anywhere you want, go for holiday anywhere you want, but don't do haram and don't be extravagant. Okay, now the message I want to pass today in the introduction to this surah, because today we'll finish the sins of that lead to the punishment of the grave, and we'll go to the last day, the signs of the last day. We'll talk about the Dajjal, the Mahdi, the destruction of the Kaaba, all these things, the signs that the Prophet has mentioned about the last day. We'll see how much of them we can take today. So after finishing the signs of the last day, so Kalla sawfa ta'lamun, thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun. So the verse continue after saying Al-Haakumut-Takaathur. You've been distracted by these worldly things, competing in this wealth and children, Hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you visit the grave. So we talked about death in our previous tafsir, how death comes to a human being, how death is, how the life of a good person is taken, how the life of a bad person is taken. So say hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you reach the graves, you will not finish hustling for all these things. You will never be satisfied for all these things, and that is the insatiable part of human nature. Then he said, Kalla sawfa ta'lamun, no, you will know. Thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun, and no, you will know. Ibn al-Qayyim has said that the first no you will know is at the point of death, and the second no you know is in your grave. So we discussed about death, how the soul goes to Allah, if it's a good soul, how the soul comes to the grave, and we've been discussing everything that happens in the grave. And now we are talking about the sins that leads to punishments in the grave. Now, before I do that, the hadith I want to share for the introduction today is the hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Muslim narrated by Abu Hurairah. And it's a hadith that gives us a method. How can we stay not distracted from Al-Hakum-Takathur? How can we stay, what can we do to contain ourselves, to be able to watch ourselves, to restrict ourselves from falling into the temptation of Al-Hakum-Takathur? And this hadith is one hadith that will help you. So the Prophet ﷺ says in this hadith, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Abu Hurairah narrates that the Prophet said, انظروا إلى من هو أسفل منكم. Always look upon those that are below you in status, those you are better than in wealth, those you are better than in health, those you are better than in call it, is it connections or influence. Always look at those you are better than. وَلَا تَنْظُرُوا إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ فَوْقَكُمْ. Stop looking at those that are richer than you. Stop looking at those that are more beautiful than you. Stop looking at those that have things better than you. فَهُوَ أَجْدَرُ أَنْ لَا تَزْدَرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. He said this is what will contain you not to belie the mercy of Allah upon you. Powerful hadith. Powerful hadith. How many times have you said, oh, you want to be like this, be like that, and then you see somebody that doesn't have up to half of what you have? The Salaf, they told the story of a man who has nothing. He had nothing. He said he's going to kill himself. He told the king, he said, king, please go and hang me. I want to die. He said they should hang you. He said, yes. All he has is slippers. He doesn't have anything else. His slippers and his pants. As they were going to hang him, he said, okay, they said you should hang him. The hangman said, they should hang you. See me, I don't have slippers, so me, give me your slippers before we hang you, because me, I want slippers. He's still cherishing his life. So if you think you've seen the worst, wallahi, trust me, there are people who have seen worse than you. If you think you are facing the worst trial, if you think the whole world is falling down on you, there are people who are facing worse than you, but they are surviving. They've not broken down. They still have hope in Allah. So when you keep looking at those above you, those that you think from outside, you think their life is full of merriment, full of pleasure, and a lie. There is nobody that doesn't have temptation. There is nobody that doesn't have trial. There is nobody that doesn't have sadness. There is nobody that doesn't have pain. We all feel pain. We all have sadness. We all have sorrow in one or two different ways. The degree might be different. The magnitude might be different. But we all face this kind of sorrows in life. So as a Muslim, you understand that if you think you are facing something bad, look at those you are better than. They will give you hope to move on. So that is one way to appreciate Allah's mercy. That is one way to appreciate Allah's mercy. Okay? You think you are sick. There are people who haven't left the hospital in 2 years. They are in coma. Some people cannot pee. They pee through pipes. Some people cannot poop. Some people cannot even eat. They feed them through pipes for months, for years. In the hospital, they are there. Some people can't speak. Some people are handicapped. You know, that is why the Prophet ﷺ says, when you see someone that is facing a trial that has not befall you, you should say, Alhamdulillahi alladhi afani. Alhamdulillah, thanks to Allah who has saved me, mimma btalakum bih, from what He's tempted you, from what He's tried you with, wa faddalani, and He has made me better, He has favored me, ala kathirin mimman khalaqa tafdila, above many other people that He has created, a great favor. Some of you choose what you eat in suhoor. You'll be like, somebody is eating beans for suhoor. How can somebody eat beans for suhoor? You know when you eat beans, water go dey hungry you. Na so water you go want drink. So how can you eat beans for suhoor? There are some people, all they have is beans. They will eat beans for suhoor. They will eat beans for iftar. They have nothing else to eat. In fact, that beans, somebody nine dash them. And they are still fasting in Ramadan. But you as a child, you be telling your mom, mommy, we ate bread and tea in the morning and egg. I want something different. We'll eat bread. You little children, you don't understand. You don't know what life is all about. Because mommy always give you everything. Daddy always give you everything. You think life is all about give me anything I want. Sometimes you need to make those kids understand that your life can be taken anytime. Allah can take those parents from them anytime. And once they go like this, it go clear like DVD for their eye. That is when their eye will be cleared. Is that okay? Yes, some people are already asking questions in the chat. Let me open the question and answer the Q&A so that people can answer questions, also ask questions in the Q&A. I've opened the Q&A. I will also answer the questions in the chat also. So keep sending your questions in. I always try to finish 10-15 minutes early so we can answer those questions, inshallah. So you discover that as a child, because you are giving everything, you think life is all about everything you want. So as parents, we should let these children know, because children nowadays, from the age of 6, 7, they know stuff. Not like us, the olden days. This whole technology, it looks like we are born technology children. From when we born them, they know how to operate iPad. From when we born them, they know how to operate TV. From when we born them, you not teach them anything, they know by themselves. So this technology has changed the mentality of our children. They are mature easily before us. Some of us, when we were born, we were wearing only pants till we were 10 years old. We were only pants. We will be playing the old village. We ride tire in the old village. We'll go farm with pants and come back. But now, children 5 years old, they don't. So things are changing drastically. So you should let these children know life is not about getting what you want. Allah can change things anytime. You should train them for what's to come, for what's not expected, for what you cannot tell, the indeterminate future. So let them know that there are people who cannot even eat bread and tea in the morning for suhoor. There are people who cannot have all this kosei and kunu and cocoa. By the way, I miss the kosei and kunu for iftar in Nigeria. I don't have it here, and I don't know how to make it very well. I tried to make kosei one day and cocoa. It turned into starch, turned into something else. So I'm still learning. I'll make it, and inshallah I'll get it. But the thing is, all these good things we use for suhoor and iftar, not everybody can afford it. So always sometimes think about your driver. Think about your gate man. Think about how these people survive and see how they'll be happy. They will open the gate for you. Oh, Hajjah, welcome. Oh, Hajjah. Think about them. Look at those who are below you. Look at those who you are better than. They will give you hope. They will give you the ability to thank Allah for Allah's favors in your life that nobody will be able to bring to you except by yourself. So stop looking at those that are above you. You will not understand what is there in the reality of life. So that is the short introduction I'm giving us today. How to maintain our iman and stay steadfast, not to be distracted by worldly things. Okay, so talking about the sins that could lead to the punishment of the grave, the Prophet said in the hadith, a man who steals from the booty of war without it being hardened to him, he steals from it. If he steals a cloak, he said on the day of judgment, that cloak will be wrapped around him with fire. He will be wrapped with a cloak of fire. Is that okay? And so the punishment of the grave is for sins of the heart, sins of the eye, sins of the ear, sins of the mouth, sins of the tongue, sins of the stomach, sins of the private part, sins of the hand, sins of the foot, and sins of the entire body. Any sin you commit at all is punishable in the grave. That is what the ulama say, and we've had lots and lots of hadith. Those who spread malicious gossip, those who tell lies, we've seen what they are. Those who backbite, those who give false witness, those who slander, those who are chaste, who slander those. Those who slander those who are chaste and innocent. You go and spoil somebody's name out of jealousy. These are things that can lead to the punishment of the grave. Those who promote bid'ah, those who promote innovation, those afar that will come and be teaching you bad things. They'll be teaching you things that are not in the sunnah. They'll be teaching you things because they want to collect money from you. There are many afar that all they do is call and collect money. Come and bring money for prayer. Bring money for prayer. There's nothing like bring money for. If you want to give afar something, that's for you. But for afar to be collecting money from you for prayer, we'll charge you money for ram. We'll charge you money. People have turned Islam into business. So those people that promote innovation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish them in the graves. Saying things about the Prophet that you have no knowledge about. Those who consume riba, interest, usury. Those who consume the wealth of the orphans. Those who consume bribes. Those who consume the wealth of their Muslim brothers who are living under them. Those who consume intoxicants. Those who drink. Adulteresses, homosexuals, thieves, traitors, betrayers, and plotters. Name them. We've seen a hadith naming punishments for these people. Those who record the interest, those who pay it, those who sign it, Those who enter into marriage to cheat the woman just so to divorce her later, just because they want to have something with her and throw her away. Is that okay? And those who seek to waive the duties enjoined by Allah and transgress His sacred limit. They don't pray, they don't give zakat, they don't do the things Allah has enjoined them to do. Is that okay? Those who seek to harm the Muslims, those who seek to expose their fault, it's very bad. This is a very bad thing that is common in our ummah these days. The Prophet ﷺ one day told the Sahaba, "Atadruna mal ghiba?" He said, "Do you know what is backbiting?" They say, "Allah wa rasuluhu a'lam." Say, Allah and His Messenger knows best. He said, "Al-ghiba dhikruka akhaka bima yakrah." Is to say something about your brother behind his back, something he does not like, something you know he hates people to know about him. You know this person doesn't like this thing, but you say it about him behind his back. And then the Sahaba asked, "Ya Rasulullah, فَكَيْفَ إِذَا كَانَ فِي أَخِي مَا أَقُولُ?" He said, what if what I'm saying is true? He did it. It's not that I'm lying against him. It's something he did. Even if it's bad, I'm saying that he did it. I'm not lying against him. The Prophet ﷺ says, فَإِنْ كَانَ فِي أَخِيكَ مَا تَقُولُ فَقَدْ اغْتَبْتَ. He said, that is the backbiting I'm talking about. When that thing you are saying, he did it. Because that thing you are saying, if he did not do it, فَقَدْ بَهَتَّ. Now you have slandered him. So there is backbiting, there is slander. Backbiting is saying something that is true, but you know the person does not like people to know that he did that thing. Just because you know the person committed zina or the person stole, you go, hey, that person, and I steal that thing. I see her that day. I catch her red-handed. That woman a thief. This is backbiting. Backbiting, even if it's true. As Muslims, we are supposed to keep the secrets of our Muslim people, except it's secret that will harm other people. Is that okay? Somebody committed a sin that is a personal sin in his life, you know, and you go and start telling people outside. You go and start telling his secret to shame the person. This is backbiting. But if the person didn't even do it, you are making up the story because you hate the person, you want to cause problem between the person and their friends, that is slander. That is a higher level. Greater punishment for those people. So those people who kill innocent people, all in the name of politics, all in the name of blood money or whatever, and those who deny the names of Allah, those who prefer to follow their hearts and desires over the rulings of Allah, and those who wail for the dead, oh, I don't die, oh, kill me, oh, they tear their hair. We've seen a hadith on this when we talked about tawakkul and patience. So those who do like that, there is punishment for those. And those who sing songs that are forbidden, who listen to music, those who build mosque over the grave, they go and pray in their Afar's grave. Oh, if I pray in this grave, Allah will answer my prayer. Let's go visit this Afar grave. If you pray there, Afar, we beg Allah, your prayer will be answered. These are all haram. Is that okay? Those who take more than what they are owed, and those who pay less than what they borrowed. Is that okay? Or what they owe. So these are all things that leads to the punishment of the grave. The tyrant, the arrogant, those who show off, those who slander, who backbite. Is that okay? Those who go to soothsayers. I was talking about sihr last time. Sihr is magic, witchcraft. These things are real and they can affect a Muslim. So we always pray for protection of Allah against them. Mami water, these things are real. Is that okay? These things are real. They exist. They are spirits. They are ghosts. They are evils around that we can't see with our naked eyes. But Islam has given us the ways to protect ourselves from this kind of spiritual problems. Those, if you remind them about Allah, they don't listen. They say, forget it, not today. We don't hear all this thing before. Those who go to fortune teller, oh, Afar, beg, I want travel next month. I want open the business. I want you help me look whether the business go good or it not go good. Those who can think, they can tell the future. Who can tell what will happen in the future? They are soothsayers. Anybody that want to tell the ilmul ghaib of the future is a soothsayer. Stay away from them. They'll tell you, don't travel. This is your travel. No, travel the next day. These are all haram, and they can all lead to the punishment of the grave. If you help the wrongdoers, is that okay? You sold your hereafter for this world. Is that okay? You are telling people about Allah and His Messenger. They throw their face away. They don't care. Is that okay? But if you mention the name of a politician, the name of a rich person they know, they will be like, hey, yes, we'll follow. Those whom the Quran is recited to them, but they pay no heed. Is that okay? The shaitan has taken them away to music. Those who are hypocrites. Is that okay? And those who sing songs that are haram songs with instruments. Those who swear by Allah and tell lies. The Sheikh mentioned hundreds of people that are punished in the grave. Is that okay? They tell lies, but they will not tell lies when they want to swear by their Sheikh, but they can swear by Allah and tell lies. Is that okay? Those who boast of their sins. You know who I be? No, no, sin on me do this thing that day. You know, no, those who boast of their sins, they'll be punished in the graves. Those from which you do not feel your dignity is safe. People you do not feel safe telling your secrets because they will go around telling people. Those who engage in obscene speech, they talk anyhow. They don't have food stuff. Their mouth be like buckets. They talk anyhow. They use useless language. Is that okay? Those who delay their prayers. Those who delay their prayers until the end of time. They don't pray. They'll pray for nights. They'll gather, pray Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib for nights. Those people will be punished in their graves. Those who do not pay their zakah. Those who do not perform hajj when they are able to. Those who are not cautious regarding what they look or what they say or what they eat. Those who do not care where their wealth comes from. They don't care. So money na all money na money. They don't care. All these people will be punished. Those who do not uphold the ties of kinship. They don't have good relations with their mom, their dad. They don't care. Those who do not show compassion to the poor. They don't show compassion to the widows, orphans, animals. They forsake orphans. They punish animals. They treat people anyhow. They withhold small kindness. And they seek faults in people. And they are ignorant of their deeds. All these people will be punished. So all of these and their ilk will be punished in the graves for their sins, according to how great or small they were. Because most people are like this. Most of the inhabitants of the grave will be punished. And those who succeed from the punishment of the grave will indeed be very few. Only very few people will succeed from the punishment of the grave. So now the Muslim is in the grave, he's there. There are other Muslims living. Us, we don't learn lessons. Fir'aun has been buried since. When Fir'aun was alive, he thought he was all and all. He thought he was the Alpha and Omega. Thousands of years now, he's been buried. Look at us today, the same. People die every day, yet us that are alive, we don't listen. Very soon it will be us going to the grave. By then it will be too late. How many of us have lost friends, even in high school? Like, oh, we're in high school together. I can't believe that brother died. That's all. Once you talk on, may Allah have mercy on his soul. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. You go back to your sins. You go back to all the evils you used to do. It means you've not learned. It means you've not seen that it's coming for you. The Prophet in the Hadith said, angel of death visits every one of us. At least once every day. He'll come and just show face just to check, okay, this guy, okay. You know when you are doing this coronavirus test, they'll put scan in your head. They'll say, okay, this scan, your temperature is fine. Angel of death will come with the scan. Okay, your time never reach. Okay, okay. Okay, your time never reach. Okay. Like that. Angel of death visits everyone. At least once every day. Until the day he visits you and it's your turn and then you are gone. So may Allah allow the angel of death to take our lives when we are ready, when we are in the best state of our deen. Now I will go to the signs of the day of judgment. So people will live on this earth until the last day will come. Believing in the last day is part of the articles of faith of a Muslim. Al-imanu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhir wal qadar khayrihi wa sharrihi. So the faith of a Muslim is believing in Allah. Is that okay? His messengers, His angels, His books, the day of judgment, and the decree that Allah is the one that knows what will happen in the future. And He has decreed everything that will happen in the future. So the Muslim understands all of this. I will start by mentioning the principles of the last day, the signs of the last day. The first principle is it is very near. It is not far. You know, for us, what is far is yes, but to Allah is like this, is already here. So there are verses in the Quran that tells us the last day is near. In Suratul-Takaathur, Quran chapter 54, the first verse, it says, "Iqtarabat as-sa'atu wa inshaqqa al-qamar." It said the time of the last day has come near and the moon has been split asunder. He also says in a hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says that my time and the day of judgment are close like my two fingers. He put the two fingers close to each other. They are close like this, so very, very close. In another narration, the Prophet said, the last hour almost came before me, to show you how close the last day has come. So the second principle of the last day is no one knows the exact day. No one knows. Only Allah knows. Only Allah knows. Suratul-A'raf, Quran chapter 7, verse 187, it says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ السَّاعَةِ أَيَّانَ مُرْسَاهَا. They are asking you what time the last day will come. قُلْ إِنَّمَا عِلْمُهَا عِنْدَ رَبِّي. Say the knowledge of that time is only in our Lord's sight. Only Allah knows the time. لَا يُجَلِّيهَا لِوَقْتِهَا إِلَّهُ. Nobody can ever show you that time except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He also says in Suratul-Luqman, Quran chapter 31, verse 34, the last verse, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ السَّاعَةِ. Indeed, verily, Allah is the one that knows the knowledge of the last day. So no one knows when the last day will come, only Allah knows. Is that okay? And that is why in Hadith, Jibril, when Jibril came in the form of a Bedouin, you know, Jibril takes the shape of a human being sometimes to ask the Prophet questions, so the Prophet would teach the Sahabas, just the Sahabas can learn. So he came one day in the form of a Bedouin and was asking him, Mal Islam, Mal Iman. Prophet was telling him, they did not ask him about the Sa'ah, what is the day of the judgment? And then the Prophet said, the questioner is not, doesn't know as much as the one that is questioned. Is that okay? So the questioned does not know better than the questioner. وَمَا الْمَسْئُولُ عَنْهَا بِعَلِمٍ أَوْ بِأَعْلَمْ مِنَ السَّائِلِ. So the Prophet knows not the time exactly, but we only know it is near. And the signs of the day of judgment, it has minor signs and major signs. Minor signs and major signs. So we're going to go through many hadith. The first sign in the hadith is the hadith that the Prophet said that the Jews have deviated into 71 sects. The Christians have degraded into 72 sects. He said, my ummah will separate into 73 sects. And only one of those sects will make it to paradise. And the companions did not ask, what are all these sects? They asked, which one will go to paradise? That's the only one that's of importance. He said, those people who stick to my book, who stick to the book of Allah and my sunnah and my practices, the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those are the ones who will be free. So seeing sects, Tijaniya, Qahtaniya, Bangagandiya, this one, continue to measure Ahmadiyya, Shia, different sects we are having in Muslim these days, it's one of the minor signs of the day of judgment. Okay? Number 2, minor signs of the day of judgment is disappearance of knowledge. The disappearance of knowledge. This is a hadith by Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman. He says that knowledge will disappear. People were asking, what are the signs? He said knowledge will disappear. People will no longer have knowledge. Everybody will be misbehaving. Somebody is born Muslim. He doesn't even know what is Fatiha. Some of us cannot even translate Fatiha. Knowledge is going. And then the Prophet said, how can, the Prophet was asked, how can knowledge go? He said, the people who are scholars, those who are knowledgeable will start dying. And only the ignorant people will remain. So ignorance will prevail. We are starting to see bits and bits of that. People are born Muslims, they don't practice Islam. They just grow in Muslims. My name is Ahmed. I have a friend in my school. His name is Ahmed Abdullah ibn Ibrahim. He has never been a Muslim. That was the name the parents gave him. The parents were Muslim, but he himself has never been a Muslim. In fact, he's not even a Christian. He's atheist, free thinker. But he has that name, beautiful name. So we give our children these names and then we leave them in ignorance. We leave them in ignorance. Then another sign of the day of judgment, number 3, is much killing. There will be much killing. Killings here and there. Come and see how people are dying. They are killing people in Palestine, killing people in Myanmar, killing people in Afghanistan, even killing people here in US. People are being killed everywhere. That is another sign of the minor sign of the day of judgment. Another sign of the day of judgment, it says, Islam will be worn out. Islam will die off like clothes. You know how clothes worn out and they tear, patch, you can get patch here and there. Islam will wear out like clothes until there will be no one who knows what fasting is. No one who knows what prayer is. No one who knows what charity is. No one who knows any ritual, hajj, or anything like that. No one knows anything about that. That is another sign of the day of judgment. Number 5 sign of the day of judgment. He said the Quran will disappear in one night. And some scholars classify this as a major sign. Quran will disappear. Nobody knows Kulu Allahu Ahad again. Quran will just disappear. No written Quran, no memorized Quran. Quran vanish in one night. And no single verse will be left on earth. The same hadith continues. It says some groups of old people will be left who will say, we used to hear our fathers say La ilaha illallah. So we repeated it. So we just said it, La ilaha illallah. We don't even know what it means. Old people. The young people know nothing about it. Don't old people be saying, when they are saying their story, fairy tales, they'll be telling the children, we used to hear our parents say La ilaha illallah. But they know nothing about the ritual, no fasting, nothing. Only they used to hear people say La ilaha illallah those days. That's what they'll be saying. Sign of the last day. And then Silah was asking Hudhayfa ibn al-Yaman, that was narrating the hadith. He said, Ya Hudhayfa, what will this La ilaha illallah benefit them if they don't do the fasting, they don't do the prayer? Hudhayfa did not answer. Silah asked again, Hudhayfa, I say, of what benefit is La ilaha illallah to these old people when they did not fast, they did not do any of the rituals? Hudhayfa did. He asked the third time, and then Hudhayfa said, oh Silah, it will save them from hellfire. Because the Prophet said, anyone who says La ilaha illallah will be saved from hellfire. Now, there is another hadith. He said, the hour will not come until there is no single soul saying Allah, Allah. Nobody mentioning Allah's name. According to the hadith, the same hadith, the Prophet said, the most evil people are those people that we see the last day. The people that we see the last day are going to be the most evil of all people. The people of the last day. May Allah not count us among them. You don't want to be among those people. So in a hadith narrated by Abdullah ibn Umar in Ibn Majah, these hadiths were excerpted from the book by Ibn Kathir, and some of them have some weakness in it, but they are important for us to mention these signs. So Abdullah ibn Umar said, the Prophet ﷺ called upon them one day. He said, O Muhajirun, you may be afflicted by 5 things. Allah forbid that you should live to see them. Number 1, when zina becomes widespread, when fornication and adultery becomes widespread, what is the affliction? Diseases that no one has ever seen before will befall the people. When cheating becomes widespread in trade, you are cheating people, people are cheating the poor, taking the money, and he said drought and famine and oppressors as rulers will be put on you. So if you are cheating in your trade, you are not honest in trades, everybody is cheating, Allah will put oppressors as your rulers, and you have drought and famine. If you don't pay your zakat, Allah will withhold the rain, and if not for the animals, Allah will withhold the rain forever. And those who break Allah's covenant, they leave their Islam, they don't pray, they don't follow, you say Allah sent them an army that will defeat them and oppress them. And when the rulers do not govern by the truth and by the book of Allah, Allah will split them in groups and they will start fighting each other. So these are the things the Prophet said. Some scholars classify these as part of minor signs of the day of judgment. That's number 8 in the hadith. So number 9 is hadith by Ali bin Abi Talib in Tirmidhi, that the Prophet ﷺ said, is my ummah bears 15 traits, tribulations will befall them. If you have these 15 characteristics, tribulations will befall you in this hadith. So the first one, he says, when gain is shared, the profits made from the economy is shared only among the rich, with no benefit for the poor. That's the first one. The second one, he said, when trust becomes a means of profit. Trust becomes a means of profit. What's supposed to be entrusted to you, you use it to make money. Just like you have trust, all these endowment trusts, you're supposed to be trusted, but you're using it for profit. You're using it for business. When paying zakat becomes a burden. When a man obeys his wife and disobeys his mother. When a man treats his friend kindly while shunning his father. when voices are raised in the mosques, when the leader of a people is the worst of them. So some scholars say some of these signs are already apparent. Some of the minor signs of the Day of Judgment are already apparent. We see it out here. When people treat a man with respect because they are afraid of the evil he might afflict them. When there is much wine being drunk. When men wear silk. When female singers and musical instruments become popular. When the last ones of this ummah cause the first ones. Yes, there are many people who say, La'natullahi ala Umar, La'natullahi ala Abu Bakr. Now, they call themselves Muslims, they are saying Umar is kafir, Abu Bakr is kafir. When the last of this ummah caused the first ones, he said when all these atrocities are prevalent, he said then let them expect a red wind, or the earth to swallow them, or for them to be transformed into animals. A man asked about the hour. Another hadith by Ali bin Abi Talib, and the Prophet ﷺ said, the hour will come when leaders are oppressors, when people believe in stars, astrology, and reject the destiny of Allah. They'll ask you, are you Pisces? Are you Pisces? Or are you this? They will use the stars astrology to be telling you the kind of human being you are, and people will be believing in that. When a trust becomes a way of making profit, when people give charity reluctantly, when adultery becomes widespread, when this happens, then your people will perish. Then you know the last day have come. Most of these adultery, wine, oppressors as leaders, the killings, the knowledge that is being wasted, most of these minor signs are things we're already seeing apparent. So what are the major signs? What are the major signs? So there are 10 main major signs, and there are others that are mentioned in one hadith. And those major signs are mentioned in hadith in Muslim and Sahih Imam Ahmad and Abu Dawood and Tirmidhi. And Hudhayfata ibn Asid al-Ghifari, he said, اطلع علينا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ونحن نتذاكر. He said the Prophet came to us and we were just discussing. And the Prophet said, فيما تذاكرون? What are you discussing about? They say, Anisa, we are pondering about the last day. And then the Prophet said, إِنَّهَا لَن تَقُومْ حَتَّى تَرَوْنَ قَبْلَهَا. He said, the last day will not come until you see before it طُلُوعَ الشَّمْسِ مِنْ مَغْرِبِهَا. Or ad-dukhan, the first one he mentioned, is the smoke. Number 2, ad-dajjal, the Antichrist will come, the one-eyed Dajjal. So we're going to go in the details of this. Is that okay? The Dajjal, the dukhan, ad-dab, the beasts from the earth. طُلُوعُ الشَّمْسِ مِنْ مَغْرِبِهَا. That's number 4. The sun will rise from the west instead of the east and set in the east. وَنُزُولُ Isa, Jesus, Isa alayhi salam will come. وَيَأْجُوجُ وَمَأْجُوجُ, the Gog and Magog will come to the earth. ثَلَاثَةُ خُسُوف, 3 eclipses. خَصْفٌ بِالْمَشْرِقِ, one in the east, وَخَصْفٌ بِالْمَغْرِبِ, and one in the west, وَخَصْفٌ بِجَزِيرَةِ الْعَرَبِ, and one in the Arabian Peninsula. Those are the 9. And then وَآخِرُ ذَلِكَ نَارٌ تَخْرُجُ مِنَ الْيَمَنِ, and the last of that is a fire that will come from Yemen, مِنْ قَائِرُ عَدْنٍ تَطْرُدُ النَّاسِ, that will push people إِلَى مَحْشَرِهِمْ, to their resurrection or to their death in other narration. Okay, the other narration said they will fall it will push them to the rivers, and they will fall and drown in the rivers, and they will all die. So he says these are the major signs of the last day. And there are more major signs from the hadith: the appearance of the Mahdi, the destruction of the Kaaba, and we said the Quran is taken up. And then the last of the major signs is the blowing of the trumpet. The first trumpet will put people in terror, they'll be terrified. The second trumpet will kill everyone, they will all perish. And the third trumpet will raise them up from their graves. So inshallah, our next class, tomorrow, we are going to look at the major signs. What is the Dajjal? What's going to happen when he comes? Who is the Mahdi? What will happen when Jesus comes? What are the details of this that the Prophet has told us as the major signs of the Day of Judgment? We are going to look into all those in details and inshallah hopefully finish them. And by the time we are done with them, then we can now go to the resurrection. Resurrection is the next, the Day of Judgment. Talk about hellfire, talk about paradise, talk about intercession. We're going to talk about all this journey. So we've taken you through a journey from death, through the grave, through the last day, and through the day of judgment. These are the lessons we want us to learn from this Al-Hakum-Takathur, and hopefully from all these lessons, something will touch your heart, something you will hear that will make you, have respite in your mind and think, as in hold strongly, firmly to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now I'm going to start taking your questions. And I have the first question here in the chat section that says, Salam, please, is it permissible to pray in your language during sujood? I said yes, especially if it's a nafila. You're praying in nafila, not a compulsory prayer. You can pray in your language in sujood, asking Allah to bless you and forgive you or whatever you want to ask of Him. If you are praying a compulsory prayer, you have to say the normal prayer in sujood, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la or bihamdi, and then you can say anything else you want to say in the sujood. Okay? So in your sujood, except if you don't know the prayer for sujood, you are a revert, you don't know, then some scholars say you can use your language or a translation in your sujood until you learn the Arabic. Allahu A'lam. Okay, how does one repent from loans with interest? Just stop it. Is that okay? Stop the loans. If you have the loans, pay them off. Try and pay them off as much as you can, and then stop taking those loans. Is that okay? That's the best way to repent. Just stop taking them. If you've already used them and you have investments in them, Islam allows you to keep those investments, but don't do any further. Is that okay? Don't do any further. What is the Islamic perspective on reincarnation? We don't believe in reincarnation. We only believe in judgment and everlasting life in hell or paradise. We don't believe that you die and you come back. You die and you come back. We don't believe that in Islam. Assalamu alaikum. Please, regarding the issue of zakat on gold, some are of the opinion that if you have gold that you are wearing or you bought for the purpose of beautification, you don't have to pay zakat on them. While some are saying one has to pay. I am truly confused which one to follow. Both groups they have strong evidences. In fact, the muftis, they differ in this. One mufti will say this, another mufti will say that. So the thing is, we say anyone you feel comfortable with, follow. If you want to give out from your personal, it's fine. If you feel you don't want to give out from your personal, there's also the school of thought that say that's okay. So it's up to you. So anyone you do is not haram. You are okay. What is the Islamic ruling on using jinns? Like using jinns to catch jinns. I've seen some of our good ustads use people who have been possessed by jinns to look into other people's spiritual lives to know if they are possessed by jinns or sihr has been done on them, or if they are afflicted with ayn. Please, I need sound answer because this looks like a babalawo doing this to me. Wallahi, these things are very confusing. They are very confusing. There are some of them that say they use these jinn catchers per se to see what is happening, because these jinn catchers have experience with jinn, so they can see the jinn world and relate back to you to see what has happened. Wallahu a'lam. Some people say it is fine, but most people say it is not. I am of the opinion if it is not warranted to stay away from any of that. That is my opinion, if it is not warranted. But wallahu a'lam, there are people who they use jinns themselves. They have jinns themselves that they use. Those people are worse. But if someone doesn't have jinns, but they can communicate with jinns, so people who do ruqyah sometimes can communicate with jinns. We've seen where jinns speak to them, they communicate with these jinns. That's a totally different thing. So it's kind of complicated. So you have to be careful, okay? So when they try to look at your future, they want to tell you what that they can see, what can happen, then you are right. It is not different from soothsaying. Is that okay? But sometimes Allah shows people things in their dreams, or from the part of the ruqyah, Allah shows them things, or they see the jinns things. They could tell you things that have happened in the past. Allahu A'lam. It's a very dicey situation, but I will tell you the safest part is not to indulge in things like that. Like you said, very honorable ustad like that. I know many of them like that, but it's safest if you don't have any, if there is no reason for it. The best is to still, like you said, it is the same like babalawo. I won't deny that. It is almost the same, and I have made that same mistake several times before with these people. But as Allah has opened my eyes, it's just your tawakkul, how much you rely on Allah. When you have the power of tawakkul, then you will not allow someone to kind of look into you and say things that they want to say or do things. But most of these, there are some of them that are true. There are some of them that use the real sunnah look for those that use the real sunnah of treating. And inshallah, I'll maybe create a class for this to talk about the ruqyah and how to heal people in according to the real sunnah. And don't deny the fact that sometimes these jinns can reveal things to these people and they can know certain things that you will not know. So there's a thin line that is drawn, and it is hard to tell which is halal and which is haram, except you look very deeply. So it is, I can't, there are some that really behave like babalawos, and there are some that are actually true, but some things have been revealed to them, or some things have been opened to them. Allahu A'lam. Some of them have those gifts and some people don't. So we have the Salaf Saleh that have done these things before. We can use them. Those who live our predecessors use the way they follow the Sunnah to kind of create a comparison in this. Salam, if you can't read the Quran in Arabic, will you get reward listening to the recitation and following the recitation? Yes, you will get reward, but you will not get as much as the one who is reading. The one who is reading definitely has more reward than you do. If a person is punished, if a person is punished in the grave, does that cancel out the sin they have been punished for? Allahu A'lam. Allahu A'lam. I cannot answer that. Only Allah knows. Sometimes punishment in the grave is just warm up for the punishment in the hereafter. Sometimes punishment in the grave is actually to lessen your punishment in the hereafter. That is totally determined by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does backbiting sin only count towards fellow Muslims? That is only when you talk. No, not only Muslims, even non-Muslims. Backbiting is backbiting. It's a funny question. So you want to backbite the non-Muslims, and no, backbiting is backbiting. We don't backbite anyone, whether they are Muslims or not. We don't want to eat the flesh of our brother or sister or anyone else. So if you cannot eat the flesh of your Muslim brother that you love so much, the flesh you like, you want to eat the flesh of a kafir? Haba. So, is it true that women can lead a congregational prayer? Yes, a woman can lead a congregational prayer of women only. So women can lead themselves, but a woman cannot lead a man. How can she lead the prayer, please? Yes, if a woman is leading the prayer, she doesn't stand in front like the men do. She stays in the same line, in the middle of the line with the same women, and they pray exactly like the men pray. She says takbir, they stand the way men stand, and the other women follow her. That's how women lead and pray. Okay, next. How will one tell someone that they should stop paying for malams to do dua for them and buy ram and not being disrespectful? That one is great. There is nothing wrong for malams to pray for you. What is wrong is that charging. They will charge you for the prayer. They'll say, pay this, pay that. That's when you know they are being dubious. Is that okay? You have to pay me this for me to pray for you. We have to buy this. We have to buy that. There is nothing wrong in you giving sadaqah to a malam and asking the malam to pray for you. It's okay. Sahabas pray for themselves. But the best of prayers actually is the prayer you pray for your own self. Is that okay? So it's okay if you see somebody who is pious, somebody you think is close to Allah, you ask the person to pray for you. It's fine. Is that okay? So you just, you know how to, I don't know, your situation might be different. So find your situation. Is that okay? So if your malam say we have to sacrifice ram, we have to do this, we have to do that, just tell the malam, it's okay, just pray for me. Is that okay? Just pray for me. But you are the one who went to the malam to pray for you. So you should know the kind of malams you go to pray for you. So if you know those kind of malams asking for ram, then you all need just to stop going to those. Find other ustazis, find other malams that you know understand the deen and can pray for you without asking for all those things. If I'm in the state of wudu and my baby toddler and I was my baby, does that spoil my wudu? I don't get that. So are you saying your baby peed on you or something? So if your baby or toddler pees on you or urinates on you, so urinates on you, all you need to do is wash the cloth. Is that okay? Sorry, I'm getting questions from different, even my phones and things like that. So all you need to do is wash the urine out. wash that urine out, and it doesn't spoil your wudu. It just makes what you are wearing. You clean it with water, you wash it out, okay, and then you can pray with it, or you just change your clothes. Is that okay? But your wudu doesn't spoil. The same if you have wudu, you step on feces, somebody's sheet, you match sheet. Your wudu has not spoiled. Just clean the sheet, clean your leg, wash your leg, and then you go pray. You're fine. Assalamu alaikum. What are the possible mistakes during salah, and how do you correct them? This one is another story on its own. Oh. This is another story. Okay, I will leave this for another day. Inshallah, we'll do one of our special talks on salah. Hajjah, please take notes. Hajjah Hadiza, one of our special talks. Inshallah, we'll do the possible mistakes in salah and how to correct them. Inshallah. If you are saying something negative, if you are saying something negative about someone else to warn or protect someone else from their evil, is that okay? And that is complicated. You have to warn them, but you don't have to say negative things about them to warn them. You can warn them, be careful. Just be careful. I'm telling you, be careful. You can never trust people, you know. But you don't have to say, this person, if I tell you what thing do, so it is not good. Except there are certain conditions like marriage. Somebody wants to get married, and they're asking you about this person, and you know that person is diabolic. That person does jinn. You have first-hand information. Then you can tell them, this person is not a good person. We have seen this person in social places. So because you are trying to safeguard something else, that is permissible. Is that okay? In that case, it's permissible. But just to warn someone, it's like backbiting, not for a very valid reason. You don't want to do that. So there are sometimes you are asked questions and it is not backbiting. When you are trying to protect validly, but not just for any other reason. Okay? I read the transliteration of Holy Quran. Will I still get my full reward? No, my sister, sorry. You will get reward, of course, but not full reward. Allah might reward you with your intention, but learn the Arabic. Learn the Arabic. That's when you get the full reward. But you will get reward, for sure. For reading and for trying. Even for having the intention, you will get reward. Salam. What does one do when they find chants in their homes or your desk at your workplace? I think we should also create another lecture, Allahu A'lam. Maybe our tafsir time, when we are done with Suratul-Takaathur, we can use our tafsir time. Now we have the salah, the mistakes in salah, and we want to talk about the charms, the magic, and how to break them, and how to do ruqya, and how to tell if someone who's performing ruqya on you is using the real way or the bad way, or using jinns and things like that. So I want us to have two separate classes for those, because they are not things I can easily talk right now. The Prophet has ways. He broke charms that were placed in him. And we know we're going to learn how to do this, inshallah, by ourselves. So I'll form another class for that, inshallah, and we'll take note of that. We need more preaching to women that are into different kinds of sihr, magic, witchcraft, in the name of trying to get husbands' love to themselves. Ya Allah, this is very common. They come between him and his family, or they separate him and his other wives. This is very common. This is evil, total evil. Allah will so much punish you if you are into this in your grave and on the day of judgment that you will even hate yourself. You will hate yourself. Is that okay? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this. I will talk more about women who go to these people when we talk about the magic and stuff. And then I will talk more about that, inshallah. And then next question. Is there anything wrong Islamically with beating children to discipline them? Don't hurt them. Be mild. The Prophet was not known for beating children. Question them, punish them in different ways. But physically hitting is very disrespectful most times, okay? There's nothing wrong sometimes, but not too much and not to hurt them. So yesterday they bleed. Some people will use razor blade to cut their children. Don't be animalistic towards your children, all in the name of discipline. So be moderate. Be very moderate about it, and try to do your best not to harm them, and all in the name of discipline. Is that okay? All in the name of discipline. Next, how many days can you perform qasr? There's difference of opinion in this, and inshallah when we talk about salah, we'll talk about this qasr. Is that okay? Some say the minimum is 3 days. And some say it depends. If you don't even know when you are going to travel, you just came for business and then you are held back, you don't know how long you're going to stay, you can keep praying qasr for as long as you stay till you know when you are going back. So there are different conditions and there are different opinions. Some people say the minimum is 7 days. Some people say the maximum is 15 days. But the Prophet was known to pray qasr for 2 months. So there are difference of opinion coming, and we're going to clarify those. Inshallah, we'll talk about salah. Okay? Assalamu alaikum malam. During the month of Ramadan, if a little practice came out of the throat when one coughed, does it spoil the fasting? No. A little particle come out of the throat? No. It doesn't spoil your fasting. Okay. Is it permissible to say dua from the Quran in sujood? Of course, it's permissible, so long as it's dua. Although it's not permissible to recite Quran in your sujood, I understand what you're saying. But if it's a dua from Quran you're reciting in your sujood, it is okay. It is okay to do that. Is that okay? It is okay to do that. Now let me see. I think we are right on time here in answering the questions. Yeah. Is there any question I have missed? No. I've answered all the questions. Yeah, I've answered all the questions, alhamdulillah. And I will hand over now to the Hajjas. So, inshallah, let's create the time. Yeah. Wa alaikum salam.
I think there's one that you missed actually.
Okay, which one?
Regarding the number of salah you can
Oh,
during duha.
yeah, I'd like to ask if there's a minimum number of. Oh, I see it. I see it. He said, I would like to ask if there's a minimum number of rak'at for the following salah: duha, tarawih, and qiyamul layl. First of all, there is no difference between tarawih and qiyamul layl. Tarawih is qiyamul layl. Tarawih, qiyamul layl, the Prophet used to pray in the night. But because people sleep and they don't pray these prayers, that is why Umar bin Khattab was the one that brought it to immediately after Isha. We just prayed during his khilafah, so people will not miss it. And then if you can pray, if you can wake up at night more, you wake up at night again and then you pray more. So Qiyamul Layl and Taraweeh are basically the same thing. Okay, Qiyamul Layl and Taraweeh are basically the same thing. And then there's no minimum rakat. For Taraweeh, yes, Taraweeh is known, the Prophet used to pray some.
I have a question.
Well, let me finish answering this Duha and Taraweeh one, okay? 1 second. Duha is 2 rakat only.
Okay.
That's what is known. Duha is 2 rakat only. Taraweeh, the Prophet was known to pray sometimes 10, sometimes 12, and then some scholars added more. Is that okay? That is why, in Africa we say we follow Imam Malik. We follow Imam Malik. Because Imam Malik said this. Imam Malik said Taraweeh should be 40 rakats. So if you follow Imam Malik, you're supposed to be praying 40 rakats. That is why everybody will run away from Malik. No, we're not follow for this one. No. We're not follow for this one. We'll follow Shafi'i for this one. So there is no minimum or maximum. It's like Qiyamul Layl, pray in twos. And the Prophet has how he prays his Qiyamul Layl. He starts with very mild two, and then he goes complicated and longer, and then you end with witr. So it's definitely up to you how you pray your Qiyamul Layl. But if you want to follow the Sunnah of Taraweeh, Prophet has specific rak'at that he prays that you follow, and then you cut if you want to pray the 10 with the witr 13, or you want to pray the 8 with the witr 11, like that, or you want to pray the 15 or 21, like that. It's up to you. And then which other one? Yeah, I think that's the only one we missed. Yeah, Haja, you said you have a question. I can't hear you.
Yes, Ustaz, it's 4 o'clock already. I'll send my question tomorrow, inshallah.
No, just ask. Let's do it quickly. People might benefit.
Okay, a sister was asking that she's more knowledgeable than her husband in the Quran. He doesn't know how to recite Quran very well, and she would love for him to lead the prayer, but he doesn't know very well. So what does she do?
Yeah, they pray separately. Or she teaches him. Even if it's only one verse, Qul huwa Allahu ahad, he knows. He will recite the Qul huwa Allahu ahad and pray. Qul huwa Allahu ahad, Allahu akbar. It's fine. So she cannot change it. Even if she's the only one that knows how to, she cannot change, she cannot lead the man in salah. So it's either she prays her own, the man prays his own, or he encourages the man. That's when he now needs to teach the man. Because now the man needs to lead the salah at home. And the man needs to take it seriously. Yeah, Hajar.
Two more questions.
Yeah.
And one of the sisters is asking if you can please answer the question.
Oh, which question?
Yeah. Can you check the Q&A?
Okay. Is it a new question?
A son who marries a non-Muslim.
What if your son marries a non-Muslim woman and she starts to change his character and starts to control him? Well, it is not haram for your son to marry a non-Muslim woman. If she's a Christian or one of the Ahlul Kitab, it's permissible. So that becomes a family problem. It's a problem in the family, and you just need to find a way to resolve it. So you either talk to your son and make him understand the woman is taking too much control. It's just like what we say, you obey your wife and disregard your mother as part of the signs of the Day of Judgment. I'm not saying don't obey your wives or don't treat them kindly, but not at the detriment of your parents. Okay? Some women are very good at breaking families, and some mothers are very good at breaking marriages. So it's both ways. So what happens is, in that situation, I would just advise you to pray for your son and ask for Allah's protection for him and for Allah's guidance for him. And if you know someone that can talk sense into the woman, like the mom or someone from their side, let them know what is going on. And if it's very complicated, marriage is not by force. If it's a complicated thing and you see your son is in trouble, you can advise him to divorce her if that's what it's going to take, if he sees reason for it. But sometimes they are in love and they see the problem is minimal and you have little control. So in that case, you just pray for Allah to save the situation and keep trying your best. Don't fight them. Don't make it more complicated. Okay. Yeah, is that the only question left? I think so. So is it enough to seek Allah's forgiveness? However, if we offend one another, is it advisable to seek sincere forgiveness from those we offend? Or somebody's asking that. Of course. So there are two kinds of forgiveness or sins. You commit sin against Allah and you commit sin against people. So if you commit sin against people, before Allah can fully forgive you, you have to seek forgiveness from those people. I stole this, I lied, I backbited you behind your back, I said something bad about you, please forgive me. Or I sinned against you. Any sin you commit against someone, Allah will not fully forgive you except you ask for forgiveness from that person. But if it happens that the person is dead or the person is far away and you repent and you can't reach out to the person sincerely, you can't, then hopefully Allah will forgive you from your sincere repentance. But if the person is reachable, within your reach, it's best to get sincere forgiveness from asking the person to forgive you. Because on the Day of Judgment, they will take from your good deeds. If they don't forgive you, they will take from your good deeds. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. It's already time for Asr. I'm going to stop here. And inshallah, we have two special topics we'll talk about. Magic, witchcraft, mami wata, babalawo. The Islamic perspective, we'll do it one day after our tafsir. The tafsir should end in like 2-3 days from now. We should be done with the whole tafsir. And then we'll start those special topics, inshallah. And then the next is about salah, the mistakes on salah, what is a real salah. We'll do that in another particular special day, inshallah. So I'm going to stop here and I thank you guys for coming. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.